Happy lunch hour, guys. Okay, so it's still Sunday, which means it's a slow news day, which is good. Uh, but I had a real interesting comment below a video or a question, and I thought this would make it for a fun video for a Sunday. Preppers are real good about getting creative with what we do. Okay, and I don't care if it's how you set up a water system or your gardens or whatever materials you use. But the question that came up this morning, which I thought would be fun to discuss, and just, let those creative juices flow just a bit, was how to protect your garden. Now, I'm guessing from his question that he doesn't mean from the four-legged invaders, but more like the two-legged invaders, right? So I want to give you a couple ideas. And you know me, security is something that I take extremely seriously. So I wanted to throw some ideas at you. Figure out which one of these works for you, if any of them, but maybe it'll get your creative juices flowing and you can come up with some ideas to do it. Now, we all talk about putting motion detector lights. I've got those around my yard. We all talk about putting motion detection cameras around your yard. But if somebody's going to steal your harvest because they're hungry or whatever would be, you might want to protect it. I mean, some of you have told me about stories of people that have literally come in and cleaned out I think somebody told me about a tree that was completely cleaned out of fruit in their backyard one night. Okay. Sure, in an SHTF situation, inevitably we are going to be pulling guard duty. Somebody's going to be walking the perimeter of your yard, paying attention, and lights would absolutely help. Light goes off on the other side of the property, you're going to go check it out, okay? Even now, light goes off on my property. I think it happened one time in the middle of a live stream and you saw me go check it out. Maybe it's a deer, maybe it's a raccoon, maybe it's not, okay? So I want to give you some ideas on perimeter security for your gardens. Now, we'll start with one of the easy ones, and I'll link this one below. I had showed you guys, probably close to 2 years ago, how to make a homemade tripwire alarm out of something as simple as a little $7 alarm, a clothespin, and a 9-volt battery, okay? Hook up a tripwire to it. Somebody sets it off, it's going to set off a lot of blaring noise. My guess is this will wake you up, okay? Then you wake up, you see the light on, what the hell's going on, okay? That's fine. But what if you're not home or something? Alarm goes off, not going to do anything. Lights go on, they go, hey, you know what? Cool. Now I don't have to fumble my way around. Now I can see what I'm doing. So sometimes the lights could actually be a bad idea. So I'm going to show you a few things here. Again, as you guys know, I'm not sponsored by any of these. I don't have affiliate links, everything like that. And honestly, for the most part, I don't even own these things. But these are some ideas for you, all right? So let's look at this first one. And these are all products that you can get. We're just going to use them for a different intention than what they were actually made for. So the first one here is an electronic watchdog. This is a motion-detected bark. And if you guys remember, I've kind of given you an idea before, putting a little speaker, Bluetooth speaker near your door, and have a barking sound on your phone. So if you hear somebody outside, you could you're laying in bed, push a button, and this thing would start barking at the front door. That may be enough to chase somebody away. This one, taking it one step further, this one is motion detection. Detects motion, and you get a German Shepherd starting to bark. That might be a good deterrent, because if it's dark, they can't see where that bark is coming from, especially let's say you get two of these, okay? There's a bark coming from the north, there's a bark coming from the west, and they go, crap, I'm heading back south, okay? Whatever it would be. So that was one idea, all right? I'm going to give you this one, okay? This is one of these sprinklers that is motion detected. Now this one's specifically used for deer, all right? You hook it up to your garden hose and, if it detects motion, it starts the sprinkler and the movement and the water will chase away the deer. Now, That might do something for chasing away a two-legged thief. However, the thief may not care about, gee, I got wet, so what? Or may know what it is. So we can improve it a little bit, right? Instead of hooking it up to your garden hose, or including hooking it up to your garden hose, maybe have, like I showed you that fertilizer deal I made, okay? Fill that with chili powder. Fill it with the jalapeno, dehydrated jalapeno powder I made, okay? Start spraying that at them. Let that get in their eyes. Let that get in their face. That's as good as tear gas, okay? Tear gas. Tear gas, okay? You can get these too, all right? Set something up with that. Now imagine somebody starts coming in and they get whacked with chili powder or something like that in their eyes. That may chase them away. Might be a good idea. Having some of these might be a good idea too, okay? You can figure out ways to make these work. So let's talk about something about figuring out something that's very common. Again, let's talk about another tripwire alarm. Here is your standard tripwire alarm that you put a blank 12-gauge shell in. Somebody trips over it, boom, you hear this 12-gauge shot go off. And y'all know how long that sound will last. It's pretty much instant. There will be a little bit of echo or whatever, and that would be it. Until you get a little creative. Why not put something like this in instead of your blank? Put a ghost pepper shell in there. Spray that around. That might chase away the bad guys pretty well too. You can do the simple thing. I mean, I really don't think anybody wants to put concertina wire around their gardens or whatever, because again, you've got to deal with it too. But coming up with some different ideas or using stuff that is available now that you could have, you don't have to go set it up now, but having it might not be a bad idea. Like I said, I built the alarms that I showed you in the video before. Are they out in my property now? No, I'm not worried about keeping two-legged intruders off my yard. If things get worse, yeah, I will, okay? Could I use some of these other things to keep people out of my yard, away from my garden, away from my house, whatever? Yeah. Think outside the box. You know, coming up with some solutions with things, like I did that video that a lot of you guys asked me about that was over on Rumble on how to make, you know, better prepping through chemistry. Start looking at different ways you can commingle products to solve a problem. Just because they sell it this way in the store doesn't mean that's the only way to use it. Food for thought. Again, maybe not something you want to do now, but if you have the equipment to know how to do it later, knowledge is power. Pinball out.